Who is ready for spring? I certainly am. Welcome to 5P Designs. So today we'll be using this green wreath that I found at a craft store that is closing and Dollar Tree white fabric. Now this green moss wreath sheds like crazy, so I'm going to spritz it with hairspray in hopes that it holds it together a little bit. You could also use just the white clear spray paint if you have it. I just didn't want to go outside and do that. It's a little chilly today. Plus the hairspray dries a whole lot faster. So I'm just going to keep turning it, giving it a few coats, and then let that dry, and we will start working on our fabric flowers. Okay, so let's clear off our space a bit, and then these are the flowers we will be making today. So this is fabric I picked up from the dollar store. You could also use, of course, any scrap fabric that you have on hand. That's one of the great things about these little flowers. You can use up little bits and pieces that you might have lying around. So here's what it looks like when you find it in the Dollar Tree. I think they have black and white, and maybe there was a few other colors, I'm not sure. So you can, of course, use scissors to cut your scraps, and I started with that just to see which method I thought would be faster. So that's what you see me doing here. But in the long run, I found that using a rotary cutter on a mat is a whole lot quicker and easier. This fabric, however, is very, I guess the word would be thready. So I had to go a couple passes with the rotary cutter, but in the end, I still found it to be the faster method. Okay, for our next step, you see that I'm using a popsicle stick. Now you could really use anything for the backer of your flower. You could use little scraps of cardboard, extra felt that you have on hand, whatever works for you. These just happen to be right in front of me, so that's what I grabbed. So get your hot glue gun good and warm, and then you'll see me put a little bit of the hot glue on the popsicle stick, and I'm going to twist the fabric, wrap it around like a snail shell, and then just place it onto that hot glue there. And just twist and twist as you go, and you'll want to add a little bit of hot glue around the sides as you twist, just to keep everything in place. And that's really how simple it is. You can make them as fluffy or tight looking as you want, whatever's going to work best for your project. I decided to throw this in real quick just so you could see how it is to cut with the rotary cutter. You'll get more even strips doing it this way, and also you'll see that I turned the fabric so that I can get different lengths because I wanted my flowers to be different sizes. Now, of course, if you're sewing, you have to be more particular about which way the threads are going to make things work out properly, but for these little flowers, really anything goes. I think the shabbier, the better, in my opinion. So you do what works for you, and so just make as many strips as you can. I think I ended up using two bundles of the fabric for this project. Now, if you can't find an affordable wreath like I did, you can go to the Dollar Tree and get one of their grapevine wreaths and their flora moss and hot glue it all together to get a similar effect. I got mine at a discount at a closing craft store. So that's what you see me using in this project. I think it was like $4 or $5. And now I'm just arranging my flowers before I glue them down just to see how they look good. I'm using the different sizes like I mentioned before, and I'm only going to do the bottom part of the wreath, but you do whatever you think looks visually appealing for your home decor. Now that my wreath is done, I wanted to show you how I will be displaying it in my home decor. So you see this window frame, I use this a lot, you've seen it in some of my other videos. And then I'm using the blue plaid scarf you can also find at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just gonna tie it around and put a nice loose flouncy bow on the top of it. I had to do this as a retake because when I first recorded, I said a loose flouncy blow, which that's not what I'm doing. A nice little bow, go for the bow. So it turned out really cute and I just really love it. So of course you could swap out any scarf that you want or a ribbon for the top, whatever works for you. Now this next project was inspired by the Daily DIYer. I will post a link to her video in the description box below. Now she does her garland a bit different, but really watching her do hers is what inspired this one. So I wanted to give credit where credit is due. So the supplies I'll be using are the cord and again the blue plaid scarf from the Dollar Tree and also the eggs from the Dollar Tree, the little speckled eggs. These are just so cool. You can do so many different things with these little eggs, so snatch them up if you see them in your store. So you'll see that the bottom of the eggs already have a hole, but we need a hole in the top. And the best way to do that, as per the Daily DIYer, is to use a wood carving tool with the point attachment and just burn a little hole in the top, and it's super easy. It does really smell, however, so make sure the room you're doing this in has good ventilation. If you don't have one of these, you could use a drill or just punch a nail through the top. I don't know if that would break the eggs, but you could give it a try. Okay, so this is the twine I'll be using. Honestly, I don't remember where I got it, but of course you can find this anywhere pretty inexpensively. And I'm just measuring out the amount I'll need to go across my mantle. I always add extra just to be on the safe side because of course you can just cut off what you don't use, but it really stinks when you think you're finished and then you realize it's too short because you didn't account for tying a knot at the end or whatever might happen from making it to putting it up. So just give yourself some extra room. Now we're going to cut strips out of our blue scarf. Now this material is so thin and so super stringy, so it was not the easiest to cut. I tried scissors and the rotary cutter. Rotary cutter wins out again. You can do it with the scissors, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a process, but you can do it, or you can use another material if you so choose. Might be the better option. You can see I even have to like tear it a little bit to get it apart. Alright, we've got our twine cut, we've got our strips of fabric, we have the holes in our eggs. You'll also see some beads here that I use for part of the garland, not the whole thing. I found that they just made it take too long to complete, so I used them on part and not the rest, but you'll see that later on. Just tying a little loopy bow here, so you have a place to attach it when we're done our garland. See, just like that, easy peasy. find the end of your twine, and then we will start adding everything on. Now the first thing I do is take some of the strips and I tie 2 around in a just nice simple easy knot, and then I will add on the eggs. Now real quick, you'll see that I initially started putting wood beads between each of the fabric strips, but I found this just took too long once I got to threading the eggs on, so didn't continue that. I did, however, like the way it looked. Sometimes in life you realize you just have to laugh at yourself. I don't know why I thought I could just stick the twine through the egg and it would work out perfectly. So here I am trying to do just that, and then I realized, hey Valerie, there is probably a smarter way to do this. Introducing the smarter way to thread your egg. Use a piece of floral wire to make a very long needle, and then you can just pull it right through. So much easier. Now that I figured out the best way to do it, I'm just going to continue along the garland using the same method until it's as long as I would like it to be. You can change up the pattern, you can add things if you like. Really, the sky is the limit. I did decide to add a string of beads to the beginning and end of the garland because I did like the look of them. I just didn't like putting them throughout because it took too long, and I'm glad I did because I love how it looks. And here's how I have everything displayed on my mantle for spring. I hope you all enjoyed these projects, and please give me a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Happy spring, everyone!